A very good morning.
55th edition of the International Film Festival of India. Our distinguished panelists on the dais today illustrate the sheer diversity of India's cinematic landscape. We have 3 films with us today: Venkya in Kannada, Bhootpoori in Bangla, and Article 370 in Hindi. These are among the 25 feature films selected under Indian Panorama in IFFI 2024. Before we proceed further, may I request all members of the audience to kindly keep their mobile phones switched off on a silent mode so there's no interruption in our discussions. And I remind all present here that the program today is being live streamed on the YouTube PIB India channel, so that our friends in the media and film lovers across the country and across the world have access to all the proceedings remotely as well. It is my privilege to introduce our panelists. We have Sagar Puranik, director, and Pavan Vadiyar, producer from the movie Venkya. We have Aditya Suhas Zamde and Monal Thakur, director and writer respectively, from the Hindi film Article 370. And we have Shokorjo Ghoshal, the director, and Pooja Chatterjee, costume designer from the Bangla film Bhootpoori. Let's take each movie one by one and delve deeper into the theme and the trailer. We start with Venkya. Can we have the trailer, please?
Oi! हंसना तो नहीं होगी।
मेरा नाम वेंक्या वेंकटेश।
वेंक्या।
Hello, Venkya. Venkya, na?
ಏನ್ ಸರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಭಾಳ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಏ ವೆಂಕ್ಯಾ ಏ ಮುಮ್ಮಳೆ
ये वेंक्या
ನೀನು ಜೈಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡಿ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಹೇಳಿ ಯಾರು ಏನ
ನಿಂದು ಏನು ಹೊಲಸ ಐತ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋ, ಹೊಸ ಜೀವನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಮಗನ ಇದೇನು ಗೊತ್ತದೇನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮುಕ್ಕಳಾಗ ಹೊಡೆದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಗನ ನೆತ್ತಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೊರಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕು ನಿನಗೆ
A quick synopsis before we move on to the next film. In the chaotic city of Hubballi, small-time goon Venkya faces financial ruin and a bedridden father. His only hope lies in finding his estranged brother, Ganya, in exchange for property rights. Using social media, Venkya tracks Ganya's impact on various communities, embarking on a journey across India. This odyssey exposes him to the nation's rich cultural diversity, scams, compassionate strangers, and profound personal transformation. I would like to mention that Sagar Puranik is a 2-time National Award-winning Kannada director and writer, and Venkya, in fact, had its world premiere at IFFI yesterday, and I understand that more screenings are lined up for today and tomorrow. We now move on to the next film, Article 370. Can we have the trailer, please? Lights off, please.
Kashmir is a lost case. जब तक ये स्पेशल स्टेटस है, हम उन्हें हाथ भी नहीं लगा सकते, और वो लोग हमें आर्टिकल 370 को हाथ लगाने नहीं देंगे।
ये बाजी खून की बाजी है। हर घर से निकलेगा बुरहान। तुम कितने बुरहान मारोगे?
कितने बुरहान थे 35 40 इस कश्मीर ने बहुत लड़ाई झेली है। हम इसे इस हाल में नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
You will be joining the NIA. NIA में तुम्हें फ्री हैंड दिया जाएगा।
इस रूम में बैठे हम लोगों और पीएमओ के कुछ कोर मेंबर्स के अलावा प्राइम मिनिस्टर सर के पीए तक को नहीं पता होना चाहिए कि हमारा प्लान क्या है।
अगर पुलवामा के बाद भी आग जलाए रखनी है तो इनके दिल में हमारा खौफ वापस भरना होगा।
हम आर्टिकल 370 हटाएंगे।
Anyone जिसने कभी न कभी इंडिया के खिलाफ कोई हरकत की, we will arrest each one.
At least we don't need hundreds.
No, not hundreds, thousands.
ये सेफ जगह है तुम्हारे लिए कश्मीर में अब क्या हो जाए नो वन नोस
हर बार we have a breakthrough, somehow in always there to just screw it up for us.
पीएम अगर 10 दफा भी इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री बन जाए ना तो भी 370 को हटा नहीं सकते।
अगर हमें इतिहास लिखना है तो किसी न किसी को तो इतिहास बनाना पड़ेगा।
तो आप पीओके और अक्षर जिनको भारत देश का हिस्सा नहीं मानते, क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप? पूरा का पूरा कश्मीर भारत देश का हिस्सा था, है और रहेगा। क्या बात कर रहे हैं आप? ध्यान दीजिएगा उसके लिए।
The third movie we have with us today is Bhootpoori, a Bengali film. Before we delve deeper into the synopsis of the movie, can we have the trailer on the film?
বনলতার অতৃপ্ত আত্মা গ্রামের লোককে ভয় দেখাতে পারে, ক্ষতি কিছু করতে পারবে না যতদিন না ওকে কেউ স্বপ্নে দেখতে পায়। যদিও স্বপ্নে কাউকে দেখা দেয় তবে সেই আধারের সাহায্যে নিজের স্বার্থ চরিতার্থ করতে পারবে।
एक बहुत खूबसूरत औरत আছে, সারা শরীরে জওরাত আছে। পাশে এলো लेकिन छोड़ो ना, चलिए गेलो। যেন পানি से बहती छाया जाओ।
তুমি দেখেছো মরার পর আমি প্রথম কাউকে ছুলাম। এ তো উল্টো দেখছি গো, ভূতে মানুষকে ভয় পায়। ভূত বলে কিছু হয়?
ভূত সব কিছু হয় না।
এই শুরু করা এটা গোটা গ্রামে ছড়িয়ে আছে।
কালু ঠাকুরের সাধন শক্তি কিছুটা তোমার মধ্যে নিশ্চয়ই আছে।
এই কালো ঠাকুরটাকে বলো তো।
এই গ্রামে না 1000 বছর আগে সতী দাহ হতো।
আচ্ছা আমার ঘুম পাড়ালে মন্ত্রপুতিটা এনে দেবে গো বাখনদা।
এখানে একটা প্রেতাত্মা আছে, পুজোর সময় ওর প্রভাব বেড়ে যায়।
আমাকে না কেউ তোমার মনে যা প্রশ্ন করছে আমি ছাড়া আর কেউ তো জবাব দিতে পারবে না।
তোমার স্বপ্নের গল্পটা না আমার খুব চেনা চেনা লাগছে।
মরবে।
ভোরপরে পরি হয়।
লোকে তো ভূত আছে তাই মানে না।
কে মানে না?
বললো ভূত ভূত কিচ্ছু নেই।
ভূত মানুষকে মানুষ করলে ভালো লাগবে তো।
I will take our friends here through the synopsis of both Article 370 and Bhootpoori. But since this particular trailer that you saw here did not have subtitles, I'll begin with Bhootpoori. So this is a film of the horror genre where a woman passes away, leaving her restless soul to encounter a young boy. She seeks his assistance to unravel the mystery behind her death. Despite their differences, the boy and the ghost form a unique bond. As they navigate this emotional journey, the film delves into themes of life, death, and the afterlife, blending heartwarming moments with thrilling twists. The narrative captivates audiences with its exploration of the living and the departed, providing a unique cinematic experience that is both touching and suspenseful. I take this opportunity to introduce Shokorjo Ghoshal, who is an Indian filmmaker, director, screenwriter, illustrator and music composer. He is acclaimed for films like Rainbow Jelly, which was arguably one of the first food fantasy films in India. And may I inform the audience that Pooja Chatterjee and Shokorjo Ghoshal here are husband and wife duo. And so their creative processes are deeply intertwined, as the director himself informed me. And now we come to Article 370, a film that I'm sure most of us in the audience have also seen. Following the 2016 Kashmir unrest, young local field agent Zuni Haskar is picked by Rajeshwari Swaminathan from the Prime Minister's office for a top secret mission. Their goal is to crack down on terrorism and end the billion-dollar conflict economy in the valley by abrogating the notorious Article 370 of the Constitution, all without spilling innocent blood. The mission then turns into a complex battle against corruption and terrorism. Our director here today, Aditya Suhas Damle, is a two-time national award-winning Goan filmmaker and an engineer by training. And Article 370 is in fact his debut feature film. I welcome once again all the delegates in the panel. And I now leave the floor to our panelists themselves so that you hear from the best we have. And may I begin with the movie Venkya. What would you like to share with our friends here today? Sagar, I would like to begin with you.
Very good morning to everybody present here. It's a great honor to share the dais with such great personalities and such great films. And this is our second time in IFFI. We did a film called Dollu before, the same compilation. Pawan sir produced it. I directed Dollu. It was also an international debut category competition. It's a great feeling to be in IFFI, and we had a premiere yesterday, and it was a great response from everybody. In fact, the cast and crew also watched it for the first time yesterday, and because our cast is from different states, they're all from different states. There are people from Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Sikkim, and Himachal. My technicians are from different states, so they all came together and they watched the film, and everybody was happy. Yeah, and Pawan sir has also acted in the film. And I also played the lead in the film. I play Venkya, and I also directed. It was a challenging process for us, and but we did it as I had a great team, I had great producers, so it all worked.
Thank you, Sagar. Pawan, would you like to add to that?
Hi, hello everyone. Actually, the initial pull to make this, to produce this film is that Sagar offered me an antagonist role. So, but after that, to be serious, once I heard the script, because India is a diverse country, and we always say unity in diversity. So why not bring it on screen? I thought. So this is, I think we have shot in almost 12 states of our country, and it is when we have even tried to capture the essence of the, because every 150 kilometers the dialect of the language will change, the food style will change, the culture will change. So it is very difficult to find a story like this. So as soon as I heard it from Sagar, I just said, okay. So thank you, Sagar, for this full story and for acting opportunity.
Thank you, Pawan. Coming to the film Article 370, Aditya, would you like to share your thoughts on the making of the film and the challenges involved in particular?
Yeah, first of all, very good morning to everybody. I think I'm coming here again, as he just mentioned, he's also coming for the second time. I'm coming here second time. My first the short film called Karvas was the opening film of Indian Panorama in 2018. Before that, of course, I was staying in lines, trying to, wait in queues to get a delegate pass and everything. And the situation changed post 2018 when I opened the festival itself. So I think the gods have been kind. Of course, I just would like to mention about Article 370. We have the writer Monal Thakre also with us, and we don't have the producers. B62 Studios, Aditya Thar, Lokesh Thar, who have backed the project, along with Geo Studios. And I think Article 370 was a project that had a lot of challenges. Firstly, I think we tried to do it because in India we don't see political thrillers. we see thriller minus politics, if at all politics is a part of it, because we shy away from things, you know. So the whole idea was to introduce Indian audiences to a proper political thriller which doesn't shy away from information, doesn't shy away from politics of it, and tries to back it with hardcore research that our amazing writing team has done. So it was a very challenging this thing, because I remember when my first feature film, the feature film that I shot, which is due to release right now, Baramulla, when that shoot was complete, there was a gap of around 7, 8, 10 days, and suddenly we got a call from an investigative journalist in Delhi saying that we have some material that we can share about Article 370, and we all went to Delhi within 8 days, and the thing was either we release it in so time and somehow make it work, or we don't do it at all. And the whole challenge was that we felt that we can go with the 2 female leads, we can break the stereotypes in whichever way possible, and somehow somehow make a huge statement. I'm really grateful for the way the audience has been responsive towards this film after its theatrical release. I definitely think I also was blessed with an amazing team which backed, because it's very hard for a team to really back a director once you know his age, you know. So it's something that I think because of the 2 national awards, because of the trust that my entire team, Aditya Dhar, Lokesh and everybody put in me, I could try and freely do what I wanted, and we finally got the success on box office. But mainly I think our main dream was that people who don't like politics, people who don't like those things, suddenly after watching the film are interested. Somebody suddenly thinks, oh wow, it's aspirational, it's good to be in the PMO office, it's good to be a joint secretary. People and children who don't like civics as a chapter, as a subject, suddenly start thinking, oh, this is how Article 370 was removed, and it is really cool. So the whole idea behind this film was to make it cool and aspirational so that the next generation passes it on. And I think I'm really grateful that we are successful in doing so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditya. Monal, a slightly more specific question taking off from where Aditya left off. He talked about the movie being aspirational. And for those of you who've seen the film would know that it goes into the intricacies of, North Block and South Block, and shows the power dynamics involved. And a lot of these are in fact aspects that would normally be confidential in day-to-day parlance. So what was in writing such a script, what was the kind of research that went into it, and was there any kind of authenticity or credibility check that you had to ensure at your end before putting it out there to the audience?
Thank you so much for that question. First of all, again, good morning everyone. Very happy and honored to be here in IFFI for the first time and with such an esteemed panel. I think I was very lucky to have a director and 2 producers who backed us like that, because I spent the first 5-6 years of my career being told that no one wants to watch this kind of stuff. People told me, "Tum Wikipedia jaisa likhte ho," because we don't have shows or films like West Wing or House of Cards in India. Either we are trying to do, when we even do political thrillers, either the main focus is purely on like nationalism and the patriotism part of it, which is not wrong, but the film has to, if you're making it about a real political subject, you must tell how things really happen. So a lot of the research had already been pre-prepared for like other projects that we had tried to work on and we had pitched. So I would say like 70-80% of it was already there. And then, as Aditya sir said, we met some investigative journalists, we met people who were actually there on ground as part of the NIA team, and those were our primary sources who can actually give you information that you won't find on newspaper or Wikipedia. And but yeah, I think a lot of people questioned it, even when your crew, your team, a lot of people will question that, is the Indian audience going to be interested in this when you're going to put out constitutional orders, subclause this, subclause that, and all. So big kudos to the director here, who is also my co-writer, and the producers for backing that. And I think what we came out with was one of the biggest praises that the film has gotten is that while the action and the other part of it is engaging, the politics of it, the parliamentary procedures, the constitutional orders are equally entertaining and educational, and I don't think there can be a much higher praise for us than that personally, because that is what we aim to do. And let's hope that I don't think the Indian audience is not smart enough. I think the Indian audience is very smart. It's about what we give them and what we show and how we cultivate a culture of smarter films and smarter thought processes and smarter political films. I think that's the way.
Thank you, Monal. Coming to the movie Bhootpoori, and for audience here, I would like to mention that the term Bhootpoori, or the title, is a juxtaposition of Bhoot, which literally translates to ghost, and Pori, which would be a fairy or an angel. So that in itself is, a work in contrast, if I may say so. And before we go into the rationale or the thought process behind it, I would like to mention that Bhootpoori won the Best Screenplay Award at the Dadasaheb Phalke Film Festival of 2024, and the screenplay, of course, has been written by Shokorjo himself. And so we begin with your thoughts on the movie, and maybe you would like to throw more light on the title.
Thank you so much. Very, very good morning to all of you. The term Bhootpoori first came into my mind because about the concept itself. The basic question in my mind was actually what the little boy asks everyone, is that if when human dies, it is believed that they turn ghost. So what happens if ghost dies? So that was the thought, that if human dies, they turn ghost, and if ghost dies, they turn fairy. So that is why this is a journey. Actually, the film deals with the concept of afterlife, because when I wanted to make a ghost film, I saw that most of the horror films in Bengal and also in different part of India was mainly influenced by Hollywood. Hollywood style of ghost, Hollywood style of scariness. Now the problem is that in India we have the concept of afterlife. So the concept of ghost in Indian literature and Bengal literature is not very biblical like the West. So I just wanted to make a very Indian ghost film. So that is how the concept came in, and I tried to explore the rural scape of Bengal. The film actually has a flashback and flash forward sort of thing. So I started it from just 1948 when the partition is happening, and that lady dies and she gets entrapped. Her soul gets entrapped for a definite reason, and a little boy, after all these years, he comes in and he helps the ghost getting emancipated, because this ghost and this little boy, they dream the same dream.
Thank you. That's very intriguing. And again, taking off from here, my question to Pooja. So what does it take to design design the costumes for an Indianized ghost horror movie, as Shokorjo said? And given that you probably have a particular era or a time frame in mind, a particular period in history, so what kind of research does it take, if any, to get the appropriate attire or costume in place?
Firstly, a very warm good morning to all and my humble panel as well. When he conceives a story, general character sketch has been given to me always in all his movies. So I generally follow that. And if you go back to the Bengali literature, we have pretty much of detailed footnotes given to, if we open any of the Bengali novels, literature based on children literature. So the writers often give a detailed note on the costume. So I actually go by that. And for Bhootpoori, I actually haven't done much of research, because it had very minimal. We have not paid much heed to the costume, but having said that, we paid much heed to the detailing of because they are all very real characters, and I wanted to keep to that very non-fashion line of clothing and attire. So I just made real characters on screen, that is all. I mean, I hadn't done anything extra. I just, as daily lives we would dress up, I made that. And not much of the research I had to do, because much more is given in the literature books. So I just had to go back to the pages and get my references from there.
Thank you, Pooja. And going off topic, but as an avid reader of Bengali ghost stories, I completely agree with what you said. And I think in India, in our folklore or in our stories, we have a very detailed idea of what characters in horror would look like. And there's a great variety of such ghosts in Indian literature, which I think the West can possibly take a leaf out of our book from, especially to enrich their idea of horror as a genre, perhaps. I leave the floor.
Yes, I just want to mention what the input that I had given. He is very stern when it comes to the lead character and their dress up. So on the colors, basically, I wanted to give a yellow sari to the ghost, but I wanted to give a yellow Benarushi because I think I felt it will look nice, but he was very pertinent on the red color. And finally, when I saw it on the big screen, actually it created marvel. Yellow could have looked little, I don't know, little drab maybe, but just yesterday when we went for the screening, people came up to me and said that this is your decision of making the ghost look so beautiful, and I took all the credit and gave him a single bit. I said, yes, my decision, yes, the red color looked pretty. I said, oh yes, I always thought of red saree.
Thank you for that anecdote. I'll now leave the floor open to questions from the audience. Else, I would like to delve deeper into the films that we have here. Aditya, your Twitter bio, which I happened to go through while researching on the movies, and in fact we had that discussion in the morning. It mentions you as a hardcore Goan. So could you tell us how your connection with Goa or your extensive experience in theatre while you've been in the Goa circle and outside has actually influenced your filmmaking process?
So I think it's with me. It was I'm an engineer first because we have to, that's this thing that पहले तो degree कमाओ उसके बाद काम करो. Yeah. So I think that time there was only one option to keep my interest alive, and that was theatre, because you can always do theatre parallelly while you do your professional degree and education and everything. So I think I've been born and brought up in a village called Usgaon, Tisk, and my father is a Goan. He was a dentist. He was running a practice in 4 different places across Goa. So I think my mother is, however, a Maharashtrian. She's a proper Mumbaitar. So it was a little mixture of things, but because I was born and brought up in Goa, there is a word which we always say, sushagat. So that seeps in our blood. I think it's calmer, it's peaceful. We know how to take happiness out of something, but it has a thin line which shouldn't be crossed. I realized, which is if you're not passionate enough, then the same word can become a little problem for you. So I think because it was always a passion to perform, I started doing theatre for around 10, 12, 15 years. I was performing at Kala Akademi. My plays were going to intercollegiate competitions in Pune, in Mumbai, like Savai Karandak and all. And I think there I started competing with people outside Goa. Because Goa is a very small state, so it's very easy to feel like, okay, I know this stuff, I probably am a good, I have a lot of talent. So I wanted to check whether it can compete at a level which is national. So the hunger was much more, and I think that automatically made me understand that I have something in it. So after that, of course, the theatre continued. I started doing bigger plays. I adapted, I did a modern version of Nata Samrat, which is called Nat SMRT, exactly like how Devdas was made into Devdi. That play went to different places, travelled across the country. And then once, and all this while I was working in an MNC. So then of course the whole thing comes to, can I quit and take the leap of faith? And that time I think I finally did it. And I then went to Mumbai. I realized that my way the Goa is born, the way I'm brought up, I was real adamant. I didn't want to work under anybody, and the entire industry told me you have to become a director's assistant, or you have to probably become an AD or second AD, then you have to become a third AD, then you have to become a second, then you climb, imagining someday you'll get your own film. I was not ready. I was whatever. That time I might as well be called arrogant at that time, because I was naive. I didn't know. So I was like, okay, I don't. In 20 days I said this is not working for me. So I'm going to. I might as well come back. and I tried to apply the same calculations what an engineer tries to apply, which is, oh, I don't have a film, and the directors, like I was told, भाई साहब आप director बनने के लिए मतलब थोड़े मैं करोड़ों के रुपए आप पे डालूंगा, तो कैसे डालोगे? तो I was like, okay, उसके लिए engineer तो biodata बना देता है, so I need a biodata. For the biodata, then it was always like I'm going to make a short film, which is in my own capacity. I made a team here. I opened up a production house in Goa called Sri Malsa Productions. I didn't know a thing about anything, very frankly, but I learned, and then I made my first short film, which was called Aba Ektaina, which is there on YouTube. It has Arun Nalaude in it, and that got me first national award for best director in the first year itself. So again, the arrogance or whatever it was called, I was just, it's like I was paid for it. Like, okay, this is working somewhere. So then I was like, okay, I'll work again. I'll make another short film, Kharwas, that again won a national award back to back. Then when I went back to Mumbai, I had a different attitude altogether, which was like, I'm a 2-time national award winning director and I've only made 2 short films and I got 2 national awards. Wow, how is it that? But then I realized, oh, the commercial cinema doesn't really look at it like that. Because till that point I was like, okay, I'm going to get easy access to the producers and all. It took time. Then I made a Punjabi short film called Amritsar Junction, and after that, of course, things went completely different. Aditya Dar bought that film, he presented that film, which was the Punjabi short, and that led to Article 370. So the Goan culture, which taught me whatever it is, to be calm, not be bothered by all the concerns that the industry is going to say, ye nahi karoge to wo hoga. So a normal Goan will never, his ears are deaf towards those things. So because I'm like thinking about what I'm going to do in this evening, how I'm going to spend my afternoons, so that is very critical, because the most difficult task I felt was afternoon naps get over once you start shooting, and for a Goan, trust me, it's a very big deal. So I first had to deal with that, the Parchinis is not going to be easy. So that is how things worked out. But I'm really proud to be a Goan. I'm really happy the way this is like the first time a Goan director got a big platform, made a mark, and my whole thing is I'm just little concerned about the way Goa has been portrayed before through the cinema, because I don't think Goa is all about beaches and cafes and clubs. It has so much to offer. I think somewhere down the line I will be the one who would try and do my part to project the right picture of Goa to the world, so that that's the dream someday. And thank you so much.
Thank you, Aditya. I'm sure all of us here would vouch for afternoon naps. And so Aditya mentioned his place traveling across the country, and in fact your short films or your ventures before Article 370 have also been across multiple languages. Taking off from there to the team of Venkya, your lead character, your protagonist, also travels across the country, and you mentioned that you shot in, I think, 12 states or more. So again, we have that, transcending of languages and borders as you go along. And the term that your film synopsis mentions is a profound personal transformation. So as members of the crew who traveled with and as the protagonist, what was your experience and what kind of transformation would you say you experienced during this entire process of making the film?
Just a couple of other things before that. While we were filling up the forms for IFFI, I was a 2-time national award winning director. But by the time this came out, I awarded my 3rd national award recently for a documentary I produced.
Many congratulations.
Plus, the story that you just mentioned, it's such a perfect mixture of both of our life stories. The engineer part is his, and the short film and national award part is mine. So the journey for Venkya, so this story is set in North Karnataka. It's a place called Hubli. North Karnataka has a very little Marathi influence as well. It's a mix of Marathi influence and the Karnataka influence. This character was initially supposed to be a grey to white. But then, as and when the story developed, we started writing. He was supposed to be a software engineer actually, this character. And then I wanted this massive change, that our country has the power to even change a criminal. So I wanted to infuse that into the character, and I made this character a black character. So the journey is obviously black to white, but the crew, it was all colors. By the end of the film, we fought, we got back to each other. It was a big, complicated journey for the entire cast and crew, but we all made it out alive. So good.
Pawan, any additional inputs to the making it out alive part?
Thank God I was just a producer.
His part is in Hubli only.
Thank you.
Actually, the logistics were a major task. So the floods in Sikkim had happened. The roads weren't easy to navigate. But thankfully, the government helped us with the filming permissions across the country. The IFFI, I need to thank them. And but yes, we did go to places where even the roads weren't accessible. The roads were barely just for the cars, the wheels to fit. And down, it's what do you call it? The End Valley, the Himalayas. So very risky places we shot at, and again we made it out alive. Thank you.
Thank you. Coming to the team of Bhootpoori. So, Shokorjo, your initial films, when we think of the themes of the movies, you've gone from Pendulum, which is a movie about time travel, to Load Shedding, which is a teenage love story, on to Rainbow Jelly, which, as I mentioned, is a food fantasy movie, on to, a thriller, Dr. Rahosha. Now we have a horror film. So, would you want to say anything about this arc, and how do you zone in on a particular subject to explore?
Actually, from my first film, I always tried to, I don't know, that was not very consciously done, but I think it is very there in me. I always try to address something which is not very much seen in the physical form. So in my first film, Pendulum was a story where an artist would paint any landscape, and he has that magical painting canvas where he could take anyone to that place. So that is how he finally entraps the villain by putting him into Ganeshwari Express in the train accident, the tragedy. Then, of course, there was a teenage love story, Load Shedding, but Load Shedding was not actually only about teenage love story. It was a flashback sort of thing where the main protagonist has been blind and he is traveling, and while he was a child, he recorded his love story with his lover in cassette recorder. So touching that, he is traveling again the time back. And then came, of course, Rainbow Jelly, which was actually the toughest film in my career till now. That because I dealt with the subject of food fantasy. The concept was that we have 7 tastes and 7 colors. So every taste has an emotion and every color has an emotion. So finally, with this 7 color and 7 taste combining, a lady makes a dish called Rainbow Jelly, having which one can change one's mind. But the main challenge was that the protagonist was a special child, and we were very adamant of taking a real special child for that. So initially we had producer, one by one everyone backed out, and finally we both have a production house and we produced the film. Then came Rokto Rahosho. It's very interesting, after which I made Rokto Rahosho. That was a thriller, and the concept is we have a thing called golden blood, a typical bloodline which actually 45 to 50 people in the globe, they have it. So the protagonist has that, and there's a huge medicinal racket that happens around the globe. So it was on that. The producer Rokto Rahosho is the same of the Bhootpoori. So after Rokto Rahosho came out, it did very well in theatres and box office. So they offered me this film, and this film actually did better than Rokto Rahosho. But this from Pendulum to Bhootpoori, I would like to add one thing, is that for me Bhootpoori is the most, perhaps one of the very closest film in my heart, because this is the first film we traveled to rural Bengal. Before that, all the films were very city based. So this is the first film we traveled to rural Bengal, and going there I realized that the essence of India lies in the horizon of the sky and the ground, which is very magical, and it looks magical, and just it's a magical experience making it.
Thank you, Shokorjo. I think that's a beautiful phrase. The essence of India lies in that horizon between the sky and the ground. So that brings us to the idea of choosing the setting, or the locale where you're shooting a film. So this question is addressed to any member of the panel who would like to take it. How do you zero in on a particular place where you want to shoot the movie? Of course, when it comes to a film like Article 370, you have a particular setting that necessarily comes with the topic in question. But how do you still figure out exactly where to shoot? Or in your case, for the team of Venkya, how did you zero in on which particular 12 states to shoot in, or which area to focus on, and how does that in turn influence the color and texture of the movie in the final outcome?
It was a very organic approach to choosing the space. So what the writers, Srinidhi TS and I did, we weren't writers. We both became Venkya and started thinking like, and actually, I don't want to let go of the story. So it's actually Venkya's journey, but he's searching for something. That something or some person, it is actually that person or that thing chose those places for us. So, but on a more practical note, we had to choose a little shooting friendly locations, approachable locations. Plus, it also had to be vibrant and should have been known for its culture as well. So it had to be a mix of a lot of things for us. But also it was a very organic process. If we felt that we needed a very complicated location where it's very hard to reach, we have that in our film. We have a very easy location, we have a very difficult location. Even to just go as a tourist is very difficult for you. In like that, we actually had to take permissions from the military, the home department, and a lot of places we had to take these permissions. So, but organic way of writing, that's all it is.
I'd like to add to that. So coming to like shooting in Kashmir, right? A lot of people advised us not to shoot in Kashmir. We could have gone to Himachal or another location that seemed similar. But I think the whole point, was to convey that if we are also saying that Article 370 is, after the removal of Article 370, Kashmir is peaceful, then I think we should demonstrate that by shooting Kashmir and shooting the real people in Kashmir. So all our junior team, our local team, big kudos to them. I think Kashmir, after what it was pre-90s, I think it is going back to that sort of a location where every movie now wants to go and shoot in Kashmir. And big thanks to the security forces, the CRPF, the local Jammu and Kashmir police. I think they were fantastic. And to shoot such a sensitive film in Kashmir, a lot of people warned us against it. But I was also the associate creative producer on the film. So I was there on set throughout with him. And I think it was just a magical experience, and I would invite anyone who wants to shoot in Kashmir or who's looking to shoot in terrain like that to definitely check out Srinagar, Pahalgam, Gulmarg. I think they're beautiful places, and every part of India should be open, should have a film culture, and should have the opportunity for the local, because there are a lot of people who aspire to work in films in all parts of India. So I don't think any part of the country should be deprived. So please go to Kashmir, please shoot there, please work with the local teams, and we assure you it's a magical experience.
I'll just add one thing, to his point only. I think Kashmir was always like a place where you were told that don't go shoot there. But I'm saying the epicenter of the entire chaos was downtown, always. Downtown Kashmir, Srinagar specifically, has been always a place where, when the stone building used to be active, it was the place where it used to originate. The first scene where Yami is actually interrogating the girl, that is shot exactly in downtown. We are literally in the downtown. Yami Gautam is literally in the downtown shooting. There is vanity, everything, all those stuffs. And the reason why at that time also I remember everybody told us, even Aditya also had to, was asking me, can't we do it somewhere else? Like, why you are taking Yami to downtown literally? And I was just hoping that rest, I was just trying to bank on my instinct that okay, everybody else is there supportively, so we will make it through, we will shoot it very precisely, because the location was real location, I don't have to build a set. So I said that speaks about the chaos, it speaks about the conflict. If you go in downtown, the wood which is used in downtown has a history. It speaks. It literally will talk to you. it will talk about what happened in 90s, it will talk about the history of Kashmir, the conflict, everything. So I said, this is the best way we could, and we could shoot there with no issue whatsoever. And we could wrap that day without going, without crossing the line or anything. So I think that has been a big thing. Like no person believes us if we say, no, we shot in downtown. We took her in downtown. It's not a set in Bombay.
Even people in Kashmir don't believe it.
Believe it, yeah.
I'm just asking. So these are the few of the horrors that you heard from them. Now for Bhootpoori, we have a different story of horror. So this particular scene where the big dilapidated house is seen, that is shot in Bhootpoori, and that is one very, very old, 300 years old Rajbari, we say. So the director wanted to shoot there, but everyone, the local people, everyone said that you can't shoot there because it's infested with snakes and bhoot. After a while, we don't go nearby. And this is real. If you visit, you're going to say the same thing. Though it has now turned into a tourist spot or something, this is very old. So, but he was very, again, pertinent that we want that location only. So, okay, let's go to that location. This lady, kudos to her name is Joya Ehsan. She's from Bangladesh. So, we all were in shoes, high boots and everything, because it's mentioned properly and they also, the production team did all that process of carbolic acid and all that. So anyway, so we were all in high boots and everything. This lady walked that entire Rajbari barefoot, and it was night shoot. Whole night she was walking barefoot. She had to fall there, and she walked so easily. So I had to mention her, Joya. I was telling Shok also that, if I was ever offered a role or something, I don't know, I could have never done that. It's so scary. So we had other challenges. So her brother had come and said that, why you want to, like how the husband of Yami said that, don't send Joya there. So the director is something, no, I'll take care, you don't worry.
I feel as though a lot of the director's secrets are being spilled out.
The basic is that the location actually creates a huge impact on the screen.
It creates the entire atmosphere for the audience who will be watching.
Even for Indojili, the house, I'm sure they haven't yet watched it. Even the little house, the house that the boy was in, that was a real house. We made that, and we did not have money, and we were producing it. So we had to spend our money. So however we could do it. So I believe he had gone to this one of those center. What do you call that? Where you get all the garbage. All the thrown away stuff. Scrapyard, yes. So he went there with the art team. So he picked up a thrown away basin. With that he made something. With the computer he made a robot. So we all do that. But then we were very, very, we wanted to shoot in that location only, because that creates huge impact on us.
Thank you for sharing that. We have a question in the first row.
सर गोव्याला नाटकाची चित्रपटाची मोठी परंपरा आहे, तरी देखील गोव्याची चित्रपट सृष्टी जशी वृद्धिंगत व्हायला पाहिजे ती तशी होत नाही आहे. आणि जे नवीन या क्षेत्रात येऊ इच्छितात त्यांना तुम्ही काय सांगू शकता, एक गोवाचे दिग्दर्शक म्हणून?
I'll just repeat the question. The question is, Goa has such a huge culture of theatre and dramas and everything, folk, but yet Goan cinema is struggling. And what is the solution and what is my message? Firstly, let's address the main thing. I'm a director who has just started, so I think I can't advise. I don't think I've reached that point where I can advise anybody. I have to understand that I'm also learning while I've started this journey. One thing, however, I'll say is that any state which is specifically a small state like culturally very rich, the risk, culturally when your state is rich you have everything. The influences on the creative mind is already there. You already have a raw material. Problem, however, is there is no competition. Okay, let's say there is theatre, if we consider, we have, let's say even if we get 30 entries, when I first competed in Sakal Karandak in Pune, I had 266 entries I was competing with. That is a very big deal, because then you realize, oh, maybe Aditya is able to come in the first 3 here in Goa, but maybe he's not going to be able to survive if he's not really that, competitive in the actual ground, on the actual arena. Having said that, there is second point, which is finally we have to understand, all of us, like the entire panel, see, all these films are fine to market. Yes, of course there is art, but yet there is something offered by that art which makes me feel that I have to pay, I have to come to the theatre and I have to watch a film. Similar goes even for a theatre, like even the drama theatre, plays, everything. So as long as the attitude of the next generation is that yes, I know this is a market and I'm going to fight it. I'm going to make it, make you feel that yes, you have to buy a 500 rupees ticket, even if you are buying 1000 rupees ka popcorn, and come to the theatre, watch it the way I've made it, and then say, yeah, it was worth it. The attitude right now is ulta. We are thinking, oh, can we get something from the government? Will we have some kind of schemes introduced? Subsidies. And that model is also hampering Maharashtra. It's not alone Goa. That model is anywhere, this kind of a model. Yes, of course, the reason why that model is introduced is to cater to the people who are really struggling to somehow come to in terms with, produce it. But the ideal goal of any producer or a director or a storyteller has to be that it's a market, it's a business. So if I open up a shop, I need to sell. If I don't sell, I don't survive. As long as the new generation understands it, I think it will be great for us. And we cannot be of the attitude where you come to my play, you start saying, wow, Zamble, you have done an amazing job. Then once I go to your play, when I visit you backstage, I have to say, wow, great, you have also done a great play. That is a huge problem. I know a lot of people don't say it, but I'm somebody who likes saying this upfront, because I don't understand that. My film, Article 370, you can dislike. It's okay. And I'm not going to be defensive about it. Of certain things you have not liked. And that's very, very normal. It's objectively, completely understandable. But when I say, I force you to say, oh, you have to say good to me, because if you don't do that, then when tomorrow I'm going to come to your play, I'm not going to appreciate you either. It creates a cocoon. It creates a very small egg where everything is nice, everything is Diwali. The moment you get out of that cocoon, which is business, you will fail. So I think that's the harsh reality. I think because we already have a lot of talent. Our films have crossed. Nachua Kumpasar has done so well. Oh Maria, I can't skip those names. Oh Maria, Nachua Kumpasar. These films have been so greatly aspired and people know about it. We have introduced jazz in this country. We are a state which, there are so many things people don't know about it, but we are open to do it right now. We can do a film on it. As long as I don't start, my first question while doing the film is, can we get some help? No, you won't get a help. I think that kind of attitude, if we come out with, we will obviously have young directors trying to make a mark. I'm sure about it.
आदित्य सर, पिछले कुछ सालों में देखा जाए तो ऐसे कुछ फिल्में ने देश की जनता के ऊपर नैरेटिव सेट हो गए हैं. उसमें से एक है 370. उसमें आपने बड़े कैरेक्टर प्ले किए हैं. देश की पूरी एक नैरेटिव सेट हो गया है. कैसे देखते हो कि ये बड़े कैरेक्टर के प्ले करना है, उनको ये पूरी हिस्ट्री लोगों के सामने लाते वक्त?
Can you just, the question not clear for me about the narrative part.
ही जी 370 फिल्म्स आहेत, एक लोकांच्या मनावरती एक वेगळं अस्तित्व निर्माण झालं या फिल्ममुळे. एक देशहिताविषयक भावना लोकांमध्ये जागृत झाली आहे आणि मोठे कॅरेक्टर्स म्हणजे देशाच्या महनीय व्यक्तींचा. आणि ही स्टडी कशी काय एकंदरीत कशा पद्धतीने बघताय?
Okay. So I think one part, of course, Monal can come into the main question is that how this is making a big statement in the overall politically is making a statement where I think characters are being portrayed as big. Right? That's the point. How do you do that? And why? And what is the importance? See, firstly, there is one problem which I never see. I'm a guy who has grown up in Goa. I have one thing I want to make clear, because this film has come out with a lot of criticism even before people watched it, which was, oh, this is going to be a propaganda film, oh, look at the timing. Of course, timing is going to be according to the window that we have where we can make the best market, right? I mean, that's the only way we can do it. So that's obvious. Anybody's supposed to do it. Only a stupid producer will think, no, I'm going to release it at a point where I'm going to have maximum losses so that nobody calls me a propagandist film. So firstly, that is all that I'm very clear about that. Second part is, it's a propaganda. Okay, it has a certain kind of a narrative. देखिए दो बात अलग है. एक चीज होती है कि मैं बहुत ही factual information आपको दूं. तो मैं वो तो obviously that's very important for a drama like Article 370 where I don't digress from the subjects. I try to give detailed information about this. But एक होता है मैं support करूँ या ना करूँ. मतलब do I take a side? Okay. The whole point is facts don't have side. Facts are facts. This is how it happened. This is how it was done. These are the advantages. These are the concerns. This is the reason why this is going to be in the interest of the nation. Secondly, the second point comes. Do as a director, I have an opinion. Yes, I do. I am not a media journalist. Sadly, in this country, journalists are supposed to be making films, and filmmakers are being supposed to be, they should be neutral. Of course, I'm going to do a film only if I agree with certain things in that film, if it hits my heart. I was very clear from day one. Article 370, 5th August को जो डिसीजन लिया गया था, देश हित में ही लिया गया था. मेरा सीना चौड़ा हो गया, तो मैं उसके ऊपर कहानी बताऊंगा because वो मुझे genuinely अच्छा लगा as an Indian. Now when it comes to the patriotic aspect of it, it's good to be nationalist. It's good to be patriotic. I feel goosebumps when in the World Cup, we have a national anthem playing in a stadium of 10,000 people. It's amazing feeling. I don't know why I have to be apologetic about the whole fact that I am nationalist. Now the only thing is, yes, what this film tried to do different was, it's not a forced nationalism. I don't have a character taking a flag of India, waving like this.
Yeah, just to add, जो सबसे कॉमन चीज़ आप सोचते हैं कि पेट्रियोटिक और नेशनलिस्टिक फिल्में होनी चाहिए, आपको इस फिल्म में एक भी कैरेक्टर भारत माता की जय या जय हिंद चिल्लाते हुए नहीं सुनेगा. वो करने में कोई गलत बात नहीं है, वो सही है. बट where it is not required, where it is not coming in organically, we have not forced any character that once the villains are defeated that everyone is saying jai hind bharat mata. It's not required. Or even while casting, I think Aditya sir would agree, while casting for the Prime Minister and the Home Minister and how we have written them and the brief given to them and how उन्होंने खुद जैसे वो पात्र निभाए हैं. The idea was always that even if we admire them, but they have to be portrayed realistically. They can't be people who are constantly talking in slogans. They are not people who are constantly saying मैं आज ये करूँगा वो करूँगा, ऐसे नहीं होता है. So they are normal people in very high positions and their day to day जो functioning है उसमें वो important decisions लेते हैं. ये mindset से आपको characters को approach करना है लिखते वक्त, I'm sure direct करते वक्त and act करते वक्त. And I think then you'll get a very good representation of how उस level पे जो हम imagine भी नहीं कर सकते कि वो pressure पे और वो situation में अगर आप imagine करें कि आप होम मिनिस्टर के साइड में बैठे हैं पार्लियामेंट में जब वो ये 5 अगस्त का पढ़ रहे हैं, ठीक है, जो मतलब 75 years की चीज़ चेंज होने जा रही है. We wanted to give you that experience. What does that feel like? It's not like some moment where you say भारत माता की जय. It's also not a moment where you say मुझे इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. It is a very pivotal moment in history. जो आपने कहा कि बड़े कैरेक्टर्स को एक बहुत बड़ी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि हम प्राइम मिनिस्टर और होम मिनिस्टर को एक वेरी रियलिस्टिक लाइट में दिखाएं. ऐसे ना दिखाएं जैसे वो भगवान है और ऐसे भी ना दिखाएं जैसे वो विलन है या वो सिर्फ सेल्फ इंटरेस्टेड पॉलिटिशियंस हैं. दे ऑल्सो हैव एन आइडियोलॉजी. वो भी एक माइंडसेट से आए हुए हैं करने के लिए. सो एक बहुत ही रियलिस्टिक, जैसे मैंने बोला हाउस ऑफ कार्ड्स, वेस्ट विंग, आप दूसरे फिल्में और शोज देखिए जो वेस्ट बनाता है, हमें वो स्टैंडर्ड पे आना है और हमें एक मेच्योर लेवल पे पॉलिटिक्स की बात करनी चाहिए, मेच्योर लेवल पे कैरेक्टर्स दिखाने चाहिए. एंड उसके लिए इट विल टेक अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क एंड अ लॉट ऑफ research and understanding to do.
And just one quick point. We see 0-30. We see films which are big, like the missions which were carried out by West. To tell you the truth, if you understand Article 370, I think it is one of the most successful missions ever in the world. Because you're dealing with a Kashmir, which is a history of insurgency, which is a history of militancy, everything. And you're saying this decision is not going to be disclosed. It's going to happen like this. And there's not going to be a single blood spill on the roads of Kashmir. That's a huge thing. US couldn't do it in Afghanistan while exit plan was happening. Okay, there was, it's just aspirational because as an Indian, if you tell me an Indian did it or an Indian government did it, no matter who is in the power or what, that team, NI and all the entire team have done it, it makes me feel यार ये तो मतलब ये तो बोलने की चीज़ है यार, ये तो कहते हैं यार लोगों को वर्ल्ड को बता देते हैं कि इस तरीके से किया हमने ये. So that is the whole goal. And when we made it, idea was yaar when Home Minister is going to do these things or the NI is going to do certain things, and trust me, we have not shown a lot of things. Because it's a 2-hour, film, you can't really show everything. There were so many things that we had to skip in the writing. He had written it and then finally we had to take a call. नहीं उसको उड़ा देते हैं. Then ये रूठ जाएगा. बाद में ये झगड़ा हो जाएगा. वो तो सब हुआ है. But ideally we had to make a film, so we had to cut certain points. But it's in the nation's interest, then we are going to show it in that way. So that I'm really proud of.
Thank you for sharing that. It's been a fascinating discussion, and we're well over the time allotted. But I would like to take the time for one last question from the audience, if any. Yes, please.
Actually, I have a question. I have a query on Venkya. Yesterday I was to Venkya, and at first congratulations for the IFFI selection.
Thank you.
And while watching the film, I felt that your film looks like a visual research paper on culture. So my question is, at the back of your mind, do you had an exercise that your film will be a narrative featuring an unified text of diverse geopsychology, the psychology of the people across the regions?
Oh no, I mean, not exactly. I think we speak different languages, we might dress differently, I think these are the only different things. Apart from that, I think we're all on the same thought process. So the black and white characters in the film are not particularly geographical. It has nothing to do with this person's good, he's from this state, this person's bad, this person from this state. No, it had nothing to do with that. So the psychology is not geography based. Yeah, that is the precise answer to that question.
Thank you. Before we close, I would like each team to perhaps give one sentence about their movie. Because we have 3 films in 3 different languages, and we've had a very insightful discussion today. So for the audience that might not have seen any of these films, could you just briefly give us one line that will perhaps inspire them? Shokorjo and Pooja.
So I think for Bhootpoori, I would say this is not a mere horror story. I would like to introduce Bhootpoori as a biography for ghosts. I think in horror story we see people getting affected with ghosts. Here we see ghosts getting affected.
Wonderful. Team of Article 370.
I think the film is all about Kashmir hamara tha, hai aur rahega. That is all the part.
And finally the team of... Yes, please.
Just one last thing. Article 370, as the film also says, has not the problem of Kashmir or the crisis of Kashmir is not solved. It's just the beginning of solving it. And the day I must mention Kashmiri Pandit's return back is the day we can say that Kashmir is safe and secure.
And finally to the team of Venkya.
The culture of Bharat has the power to even change a criminal.
As we come to the end of this press conference, I extend my sincere thanks to all of you because it's been a wonderful discussion.